Howdy doody, good friends, and welcome to the Mad Painter Show. Have you ever been in a storm so bad you couldn't see in front of you? It's like, oh my goodness, I can't see. I don't even know where I am going. And what's the first thing you do? Stop. You stop. S-T-O-P. And since I'm right there, I'm going to need you to grab a pen and a piece of paper because we're about to take notes. Because starting right there at that S, what do? We silence our mind. We have to silence our mind and stop all of those negative thoughts. Because when we're in a storm situation, the first thing we're looking at is what we can't do. How we're not going to make it. I can't see in front of me. What am I going to do about that? It's what you're going to do is stop and silence your mind. And the next thing you're going to do is talk to God. God knows all things. He sees all things. He's great and wonderful. Talk to him about it. Talk to him about your situation. And in the midst of you talking to him about your in the midst of you talking to him about your situation, we're going to move on straight to O and omit complaining. I was watching this Muslim video one time, and he was talking about prayer, because I've mentioned before in past videos, I really admire how they acknowledge prayer, because I see it as a thing of you're making it a habit to acknowledge God and talk to him. It's like part of the relationship walk. So anywho, he was saying as far as having this discussion, he was saying this thing as far as, you know, how do you go on talking to God and complaining to him? And he actually said Allah. How do you go about talking to Allah and saying all of these complaining things? But he's the great and powerful one, and he's capable of doing all these things. He created all of these things, and you're going on and complaining about what's not going right in your life. That's not, you don't go to Allah and complain to him, and just in case, Allah is another name for God. So in looking at this and recognizing, like, wow, we're going to him and just looking at the problems and not looking at all of the wonderful things that he is capable of doing, that he has done. So we're going to omit the complaining and move straight on to the P, baby. You down with PPP? Yes, you know me. Not that PPP, but the P and stop. The P, we're going to go straight to the praises, because in these praises, we're remembering God has a plan for us, a plan to prosper us, not to harm us. So in this plan, and in looking at this stop situation, we're also going to see how he has this plan, how we're made in the image of him, and how we also need to have our plans. We have this vision. So what is it that we do after stop? Because we can't just sit there idly. No, there are things that we have to do. So in the midst of us stopping and praising and going on, we're asking him for his help. So moving on along in my notes, so faith is the substance of things hoped for. Because this is what we're recognizing when we stop. Because now we're in a faith move. We can't see where we're going. We don't know what's going on. So after we stop and we're asking God for direction, we're keeping in mind the things that we have asked for, the things that we are being prepared for, the visions and stuff that we have. We have these grand visions that to do this and to do that. But there's a process. There's preparation to get to these things before we get there. You know, we got to be prepared. So this is part of the preparation. So as I mentioned, faith is the substance of things hoped for. And when I wrote that down, I questioned, I'm like, what is substance? And because I swore I looked this up before, but this time, if I didn't, this time it blew my mind. So the definition of substance, which I Googled, one, a particular kind of matter with uniform properties. I just wanted to let that marinate. Just let that marinate just a little bit. Let that meat just, let that get on up in there. Yeah. 2, the real physical matter of which a person or thing consists and which has a tangible, solid presence. So combining with 1 and 2, if you need to go ahead and rewind that. But do you know the first thing that came to mind was making a baby? Because, you know, I don't care what it is. If you sat there and thought in your mind, if you sat there and did your thing with your hands, male or female, I don't care what you identify as. If you did the things with your hands, no matter how hard you did to do by yourself and had all the faith in the world, you could manifest a child. You could not recreate another person. The Panther was in agreement with that. So, in recognizing that, because in this whole baby making, and also with that, it was a thing of considering faith without works is dead. Because, you know, when you got to put some work in, you know, to actually have a baby coming, to actually make a baby. And I mean, so, you know, we got the courting, and then you got the person coming in, and then you have the dance. And looking at this, I saw this as, here you have this storm, because I mean, you got all this action happening before the penetration and all that. I'm not trying to get your mind dirty, but you know, I see the storm because you have this stuff happening on beforehand, and then you have this fight because you have the wrestling that's going on between the two, and then as the sperm meets the egg, you actually have like this race and a fight going on, and this competition happening as this sperm is reaching towards the egg, and it's still like a fight going into the egg. And then with this fight going into the egg, you have this breakthrough, right? Are you still here with me visualizing this? I hope so. And have your pen, because I need to get back to my notes. And so here in looking at, you know, faith without works is dead. And then the faith is the substance of things hoped for. So here it is, we're putting in this work, right? Because I mean, these people, you know, us two, we can make a baby. You know, the body can come here. But God, hallelujah, God is the one that gives it life. You know, he's the one that puts the breath in there and gives it that electric shock and brings in that life element. And that's how we're here. So I want you to think about this, about your idea, your vision, whatever this is that you are working to bring to life, because you got to put that work in. So here it is, we're sitting here in the middle of this storm that's occurring. Now, you know, I connected this with love making, right? Because I mean, we done came here many kind of ways. Every way may not have been beautiful, but I'm choosing, I'm deciding to look at this as a beautiful thing, as a love-making kind of a thing, because, you know, it's even pain in that, you know? So it's like, and taking a different perspective in this love-making situation, because we are being made through love and being processed to be greater for what this is that we have these ideas for, because our goals are going to get bigger. Because the whole thing is to get through the storm. You got to get through it, baby. You got to be that chicken. You know what happened with the chicken that made it to the other side. I don't know where the chicken came from. I must be hungry. But you got to be that chicken to make it to the other side. And the day is not always clear when we crossing that road. You know what I'm saying? Of course you understand what I'm saying. We're visualizing this whole thing here, and you have your pen and a piece of paper, and you're taking notes, right? We're taking notes. Yes? Yes? Okay. Okay, so here it is after we're stopping, because it's like we have this storm and this fight and this breakthrough, because all of these things we have to endure in order to bring this baby that's coming about, you know? So what is it that we do after we stop? And then we're asking God as far as what we're doing. Because we're not sitting there idly just, you know, we're also listening. We're keeping our ears wide open. What? Like, I'm tuned in. Tune in, Tokyo. Tune in, Tokyo, Lord. I'm here. I hear you. So, because never mind. Everybody might not get that, but if you did, it's not the same tuning in. But he is the many-breasted one, and we do get fed by his word, and it gives us life. You see, look at the spirit. It's come in and say today. So after we stop, We have to keep in mind that God is a planning God. We're made in his image, so we too need to have plans. And because this is why we're enduring the storm. We're moving up, we're graduating, we're going from one level to the next. And it's for us to focus on what this is that we're doing. Because we left from one spot and now here's the storm. So what are we doing in the midst of the storm? So one, what is your vision? You have a vision for something. What is that vision? We need to be reminded every day of what that vision is, because we're including God in on this vision. There are going to be many times that we don't see what's going on. God is in those blank spots. Include him on in. Include him in. Include him in, little baby. So, two, we have to plan. We're planning. So here we have this vision. Now we're working on a plan. In the midst of working on this plan, we're working on every day to work towards that vision. So here in this storm, we have these blind spots. What are those blind spots? What are our weaknesses? What are the things that we're ignorant of? Those are the things that we need to study. Those are the things that we need to take time out and work on building ourselves, along with listening to what God has to say. Because, think of Noah and building that ark. It wasn't like it was a 7-day thing. Like, it took him 7 days. He built the ark. On the 6th day, all the animals was there. 7th day, boom, we're there and we're rested. No, if I'm not mistaken, it took that man was it over 100 and something years? It was a long time. It was a very long time. And I'm looking at and building this ark. They have a duplicate somewhere, and that bad boy looked huge. He had to ask God for help. That was a one-man thing happening there. He had to have some kind of assistance. So every day he was asking for help. Every day. It's every day. This is what that carrying that cross is. Every day. Look at Jesus. Jesus ain't just pop up at this bad boy like, I know what to do. He was constantly praying, constantly asking God. This is our brother. This is our example. Like, Big Brother leads by example. And he's showing us what to do. Every day, pray. Every day, asking God, Lord, what is your will? Thy will be done. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven, along with forgiving these people, etc., etc., etc. Look up the prayer. I believe it's in Matthew. You can Google it. Lord's Prayer. What is the Lord's Prayer in connection with God's will? It's there, because I'm just letting this go ahead and flow. And as I'm letting it flow, I'm going to go ahead and get to my notes, because you're writing this down, right? So after we're planning to work towards something every day, number 3, we're working on what you can see for today. So we have these blind spots, and as we're letting God do what he does, because look at it here, okay? You ask God a question. This is something that you want. God, can you give me this? Or can you show me this and how I go about doing it? So here it's a seed being planted. Are you going to dig up that seed all the time to say, little seed, do you have little root things growing from you? Are you rooted? Are you growing? Do you know that would retard the growing? You would affect the growing if you're constantly digging it up, because there are darkness periods that are needed in order for plant seeds, etc., etc. Look at you. See, we was talking about that love making. You know, whether your parents did it in the daytime or dark time, in that tunnel in there, that tunnel was dark. And then that happened in that darkness. God sparked the light, and there you was born. Well, you was created. She wasn't quite born right then and there, but you know what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? When it got, yes, I digress. When it got to happening, when it was doing the do, and it created. So this is the same thing that's occurring with you, with the things that are happening, with what it is that you're trying to achieve, because there are going to be some dark spots that you need to grow, and you may not always see what's happening in your roots can't be dug up. And I mean, unless you need to be regrown or repotted somewhere because you've grown bigger. But it's like there are going to be some dark areas that you're not going to always be able to see. And this is where God does his work. You have to allow him to do his work. So in him doing his work, you do what you do and you let him do what he do. And when you do what you do, it's what you can do for this day. What you can do for this day, it starts off with giving thanks for what you have, along with working on your plan. What is it that you need? What do you have in your possession right now today that can get you activated and started on whatever it is that you need to be working towards what you need? Because you got it. You have whatever it is that you need to get you started on whatever it is that you need to start working on. I bet you do. I bet you do. I bet you do. If you start giving thanks for what it is that you have, or you already have, I bet you'll start seeing that you got it. Watch, baby, watch. Try it and see. Okay, so number 4. I'm just checking to make sure I'm on number 4. Get out. So get your frustration feelings out, okay? There are going to be times in the midst that baby, I know. I ain't called the mad painter for nothing. Yes, I've described it as far as the process as, going mad crazy and let me do my thing. But that other side of the mad, oh, honey, it can get there. Yet at the same time, in us getting our frustrations out, you got to get it out. Go ahead and get the release out. Let's pay attention to how we release that. Because in that stop, remember that big old O? Omit the complaining. I get you one event. Yeah, limit that time. Don't rest in that. Don't rest in it. Anger rests in the bosoms of fool. Somewhere in anger is complaining and some other things. Let us not rest in that. Get it out. Release. Relax. Release. Go ahead and let that go. Let it go. And then go ahead and fill back in with the thankfulness. What will help with filling in with that thankfulness is constantly listening to someone exercise. Forgive me, number 5. Exercising your mind. In the process of when we're exercising our minds, we're putting ourselves in a position to constantly listen to someone that is motivating us and helping us stay on track. Listening to someone to help us stay on track, that they're either giving us guidance, wisdom, something that is helping us along with where it is that we need to go, and they're keeping us going. They're not putting us in a place to be stuck and to sit there and pay attention to our emotions and stay in our emotions, because ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. We can recognize our emotions, deal with them, but living in them, no. We got to stay focused and stay on track. Because you can't stay in the love making stage. I mean, we can stay there. But when it's time to raise the baby and do all these other things, you can't do it all the time. It's other responsibilities that you have to do. And you keep doing it, you just keep making more responsibility. That's a whole nother conversation, because I mean, we're not talking about that. But in considering what it is that we're doing with this creativeness. Okay, and so we have to keep going, because there are different levels to these things. And so, and speaking of and listening to someone every day, I have a quote by Bishop Dale C. Bronner. He said, "The only reason we don't give up is because we believe the wait and the work are for us, and they are worth it." You know how you'll be like, you know how I just said ain't nobody got time for that? You know how you'll be like, oh, this is just not worth it. I'm just going to give up. And no. Now, there are some things that we do need to give up, as far as in the silence and in the stopping. If it's not playing along with what it is that we're working towards, working on, Yeah, but when we need to endure and get through this storm, no, now is not the time to give up. This is when we recognize, as my mentor would say, Bishop Dale C. Bronner, you are built for this. So, and Mad Painter, you got this. This is my words. I'm saying this. You got this. You know what I'm saying? You got to take control. Because if we gonna take control of anything, take control of that. Let us not take control of other people. Take control of ourselves, our emotions, how it is we're going about doing this thing, and staying focused on it, and recognizing when the stuff hit the fan, when the storm is hitting, that's when we stop. We stop and then ask God what to do, and then focus on what it is that we need to focus on. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. If you are looking for Mastering Self-Love, which gives you information on all the things that I'm talking about, please click the Wix link and send me your email. I'll send you the 30-day love journey immediately. If you're interested in any artwork, please look at the Etsy site, or you can also go through the site on the Wix link. I have art everywhere. It's everywhere. Just look everywhere. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I am open to share. I love you guys. God loves you even more. Find out why, because he definitely lets you know. He shows up and shows out, little baby. But he can show you better than I can tell you. I love you guys.